One, this is a second video tutorial for this series. So along with the series, I also provide you a milestone so that you can check out the step that you need in order to complete your project over here. So now this is the second video tutorial. We will start up our application explaining all the structure that we need for each file, starting with startup.cs. Okay, so that requires 4 steps in this case. So go ahead, after you download the project from this repository here, you can open it up using Visual Studio Code. And now I'm going to open up startup.cs file. Now let's take a look at what is there that you need to perform so that you can prepare the startup file for your web applications. Now for step number 1, we're gonna need to create the connection string as usual. So this connection string will be used by the database manager to connect with the database in your system. So in this case, we provide the connection string to tell them that the server is on the local machines. The name of the database is going to be test, and those are two data for the user and the password information whenever you want to connect to database server. So that's step number 1. Step number 2, so you're gonna go to inside the functions, configure services. In this function get called by the time the web application gets started in the server. So the second step that usually we have to perform is to register for using the database manager. In this case, in order to register for this, we call the function add DB context pool. You also have to pass the data type for your DB context here. So we are going to talk about this in the future. But for now, this is the structure that you need in order to register the system to use my SQL database server. This is the specific version that I use for my database connections. Okay. So that's going to be step number 2, and keep in mind that we are going to come back and then look at MSDB context later. Now for step number 3, after we have registered for database services, we also have to tell the applications that we need to add the support for version 2.2. Keep in mind that now we are targeting .NET version 2.2, so this is required for our applications. Step number 4 is also needed, because whenever you perform query that require one-to-many relationships, like you have an object that contain a list of objects, in that case you need to have serialization support turned on, and in order to do this is the course that you need. So this is to allow us to have the compact query, okay, structure. So it's available on this line number. Now after this is done, the rest is just the default setup. Whenever you start creating the new MVC project file, you don't need to make any changes further for startup.cs file. Okay, so that is the only needed that you need for web application service and registrations. In the next video tutorial, we will look at how to do data modeling for our web application. Thank you.